Welcome to Writer's Way Podcast, the show where we step into the enchanting world of authors and explore the unique journeys that shape their stories. Guiding us through today's episode is our host, Jessica Wilkins. She's joined by a truly inspiring guest, the author of the powerful two-part memoir, To Then and Back Again. This compelling odyssey takes us through moments both disturbing and chaotic, as well as humorous and triumphant, promising to connect with readers on the deepest level. Please welcome Bryson McMillan.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, Bryson. Now, we've got we have so much to talk about from your book and so as to your journey. And I know our listeners are going to be inspired. So let's just dive right in and let's go all the way back to the beginning. Tell us about where you were born, and where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Illinois, Rantoul Air Force Base. My dad was in the Air Force, and I think it's Champaign, Illinois. I didn't live there very long until we moved to Solomon, Kansas, and that's where I pretty much lived the rest of my life until I graduated high school.
Okay, so when did you start, or when did the writing bug first bite? When did you begin writing? That's questions.
Okay, well, I started writing a long time ago. Short things, but it was more like poetry than books or even short articles or anything like that. And I kind of put that down when I became a student in research and development, science.
Ooh.
And that's what I did for most of my life. I was a scientist, and then I wrote a book because I just had that in me for that long. I just couldn't put out the book that I wanted to originally because I couldn't come to grips with some of the content, things that happened to me. And so I just let it go. And then a couple years back, I said, you know what, it's time that book gets out. So that's when I wrote it. Yep.
Okay, so what was the catalyst that pushed you from the private passion to saying, okay, I'm going to do this for real? And why did you begin writing in serious, committed way?
You can only hold things in so long. I had never told anybody about it. Nobody. My mom suspected it to the point she knew, but I still didn't give it up. And so she was the only other person that even had an inkling of what happened to me. And then it dawned on me, well, you know what? There's a lot of kids out there that have went through what I went through. And, if I share my story with them or whoever, people with children, then they can see how I took care of it, which might not have been the most graceful way, but that's when I wrote it. I couldn't keep it in, and I had to tell the world for two reasons. For the world to understand and learn something, and for me to get something off my chest and out of my soul.
Oh,
It was a cleansing experience. It was very cleansing. You just don't know when you put something down on paper and look at it and let the world know that this is who you are. This is what's happened to you. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. It's cleansing.
It is. And that connection is so clear in your book. So one of the most unique and beautiful things about it is the chapter themes you've created, and it's so intentional. So what was your reasoning for doing it?
Okay, this is going to sound not good, but they were hooked. I had to put something at the top of the chapter so people, when they thumb through a book, they look at the chapter titles.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. I made it compelling enough to where people would hook them into at least picking it up and looking at it. And And that's what I did.
Okay, so that was a brilliant way to put it. Now, let's talk about the journey from writing to publishing. So this part here is, the most intriguing part on the questions. Many people think publishing is easy, and of course it is. But as I know, self-marketing can be a beast. So as you, right? So you've been very open about this one. So why does self-marketing suck so much?
Okay, so I sent that manuscript, I think, to, for some reason my brother feels like he has to just keep calling me. So we're going to ignore him for now.
Okay.
I didn't tell him I had an interview, so I apologize for that.
It's okay.
Self-publishing isn't really it costs a little money because you have to actually pay for the book to get published. But that's just printing fees. Now, with those fees, I believe, they also help you with the art, what the book's going to look like. And the book that you see now is not the original cover that I started with. It's much better now. Yeah, that's an actual publishing.
Oh,
I think this is done by AR Press. Yeah, and that was such a horrible cover.
Oh,
yeah, but it didn't cost much, and so I started trying to self-market. You go to your Facebook and all the different social medias and stuff, and I was getting some hooks. I was landing some buyers, and for some reason, another self-publishing company, and I don't think I should say their name.
Yes, just don't.
Yeah, let's not. But they picked it up, and they retooled it and got it to the second book cover. And then I switched publishers, I believe, and who I have now has the cover that we see now, which I like. It's a cover of the colors, and the theme just kind of, to me, it kind of shows there's a journey, with the footsteps and everything, and so I like it, and that's what I kept it, and that's how it went for me. And there's nothing, and I'm going to say this. If you have the money, it's not a lot of money, but if you have the money and you have a manuscript and you've sent it out to publishers and they've kind of rejected it, go ahead and self-publish, because once you get it self-published, then that's when people, the real publishers and stuff start looking at it, and then it gets you in a better place, I think.
Yeah.
So that's about it on that. Do you have any other questions on that, or?
So far, why? Okay, I just have it with the questions. How many publisher have you encountered that you can say it sucks? Do I? I'm so sorry if I. Well, it's just itching on my mind. With that question itself, it's just itching at it. With no names attached, just have it with the numbers.
Okay. I think the third one was, they say the third time's a charm, and that's the truth. The company that I have now, since it's actually on the book, is AR Press. They helped. It still costs money, and I haven't been picked up by a traditional publisher, but I'm fine with that. I'm making sales, and it's at least got me to where I feel like I can do more and not feel so burdened by it. What I'm going to do once I get it written, because it's truly all. If you've never done it, it's truly a learn as you go experience, and once you get through it, it doesn't seem so hard.
That's true. And now, Bryson, speaking of that, you've also warned people to watch out for the menu options when self-publishing and self-promoting. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So the menu options that most of them give you, they've got like the basic, which, I mean, if you don't have the money, that's fine. Fortunately, I had a good job at the time, and I kind of I went to the middle of the herd, if you will, and and then Who You See's published it now is the last. That's the one that I've been using, or that I use. Now my second book that might change. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay, so that was such a crucial advice, and of course, along the same lines, we've talked about the importance of ignoring the naysayers. So why is it so important to watch out for them? And you have a great saying, once bitten is not twice shy. Can you explain that for us?
That's true.
Because I only had this one. Once bitten, twice shy. Not the word is not.
You're right. I did a flip there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because, I tried 2 or 3 times to get it published through the traditional. And finally, I found a company that, it was a flat fee. And, of course, you can pretty much find a book anywhere online now. So it wasn't that expensive. I'm not going to say how much because I don't know what their prices are now. They may be up, they may be down. And it's a menu option, what you want them to do. But they do it all. They're a boutique company. So it's not like giving it to Simon and Schuster or somebody like that, or whoever big publishers. But they'll publish the book and then they'll market, and then you just pick out what marketing things you want to do, and you pay for them, and you hope. This was my hope, and it pretty much worked out that way. That the sale of the books will pay for any other marketing. It's kind of like a self-motivating thing, or whatever you want to call it. It's not out of my pocket. It is and it's not. It's the sales of the book
cycle.
Is supplying. Yes, it's a cycle. Exactly.
So that's so powerful and so true, of course. So I know this book was a very personal project for you. Do you ever regret taking on such a lay your soul bare for the whole world to see kind of book?
I did. While I was writing. Yeah, I did while I was writing it, because I started out, this is going to be like a personal memoir. And then I got the chapter that's where I laid my soul bare. And then as I was writing it, I'm like, you know what? I can't keep this to myself. That's selfish. There's a lot of people out there just like me. Maybe not writers, but people. And I'm not truly, that's not my profession. Writing isn't my profession. It's more of a second hobby type thing now that maybe I can make money. But when I wrote this, it was a memoir to myself. Or when I started, when I started out writing it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm writing down what happened to me, but I've had so much in my life up until now happen that's really interesting. And why can't I just put this in a book? Can I overcome the stigma of what happened to me to be able to write this whole book and put it out there for God and the world to see? And as I started the first chapter, it got easier and easier. And then I got to that, I'd already written that chapter. But, since it's a time, it's chronological. It wasn't the first chapter. Yeah. So it was buried in the middle, or, later on. And I thought, well, maybe by the time they get there, they'll know me well enough that this will just be a part of their life too. Because now they've grown up with me in the book, So, well, not grown up, but, they walked along my path in the book, so they might as well, why not? Maybe I can help one person, and that's all it means,
Wow. That's
I'm glad this isn't live video.
Well, it's such a beautiful message, Bryson. I'm getting chills just thinking about with what you said. It's so beautiful. That's all I can describe it. So now that you've done this, of course, what's next for J. Bryson McMillan? What's the next book going to be about, and when can we expect it to be ready?
Okay. Well, I'm sitting back on the deck, and I've got my computer out here. I've got my big umbrella above me, and I've got everything laid out. So I'm starting on it now.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be To Then and Back Again, and again.
And again.
That's going to be the name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And
of course, with your upcoming book, To Then and Back Again and Again. Wow, I can't wait to read that one. And I know, of course, our listeners can't either. So, Bryson, thank you so much for your time today. It was an honor for us.
Well, sweetheart, it was my pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for talking to me about it, because even though I wrote it all in a book, that doesn't mean it's not hard to talk about. But as I talk about it more and more with people, it gets easier and easier. Doesn't take any of the pain and all that necessarily away, but it does take the pain away. It helps. And I'm far enough in years that really has already went to the wayside. And now what I have to do is I have to write at least 2 more books. I'm going to have probably 3 books. And I don't know what I'm going to name the third one, but the next one's just going to be a continuation from that point up until whatever point I stop at that I think's a good stopping point. And there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, my life has been nothing, if nothing, crazy. So, oh my God, yeah. It's going to be a joy ride and a thrill ride.
Yes.
And sometimes a little scary.
It will be. Of course. It's been our pleasure, Bryson, for giving us the opportunity for this interview and for bearing your soul to all of us here, your listeners, and so as your host. And we are so delighted with, at least we know what you've gone through as you have your book, and so as with your journey as an author. We are so much delighted on knowing you, and of course to our listeners also. So, well,
just I appreciate the opportunity. That's, so hopefully we'll be able to do this again.
Yes, hopefully. No problem. I can, of course. If you just say so, then we could. Of course, why not?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was Bryson McMillan, author of To Then and Back Again, a memoir, part 1, a collection of OOs, no-nos, and of course, a few OMGs. So we hope you were inspired as their story as we were. Thank you so much to our listeners for tuning in, and be sure to check out To Then and Back Again, and join us again for another heartfelt conversation and Writer's Way podcast. Until next time, stay inspired and keep reading. Thank you. See you next time.